Hi, welcome back to Technician's Toolbox. This week we're going to do a case study on a 2004 Chevy Trailblazer. The owner's complaint on this vehicle is that the AC works on high blower only and the ABS and brake lamps are on when he turns the blower on high. When the tech gets in the vehicle to verify the customer complaint, the ABS and brake lights are on all the time even when the blower is not on high. The tech confirms that the blower works only on high. This seems to be a contradiction to the RO. These two complaints seem entirely unrelated, but somehow the customer is connecting them. The tech connects the scan tool first to take a look at the ABS information, only to find no communications with the ABS module. PCM does have 4 DTCs, a P0107, a P0128, P0300, and a U1041. Since the mill is not on, he decides to check the fail records for mileage since code's set. Of the engine codes, the only one that looks like it could be related is the P0128, which usually has to do with a stuck thermostat, but the last time that code set was over 2,200 miles ago. The other engine codes set over 5,000 miles ago. The only current code is the U1041, no communications with the brake module. He decides to check out the blower complaint first. Last week he had the same complaint on a Ford Explorer, and it was a bad resistor board. So maybe the same thing here? Well, maybe, but we better not do the silver bullet route. So let's take a look at the wiring diagram for the blower circuit. The blower wiring seems to confirm the blower resistor as being the likely problem. Since the blower works on high, this confirms that the motor has both power through fuse 35 and ground. He reads the customer complaint again and is bothered by the fact that the customer has connected these two complaints. He decides to see how these two could possibly be related before he goes looking for the blower resistor. He notices that the lower blower speeds are powered by fuse 44, which at first looks good because it provides power to close the high blower relay, and the ABS module gets power from fuse 51. Both of these are labeled as being powered by the run circuit and are located in the rear fuse box. He lifts the rear seat, removes the lid with the fuse box, and locates the two fuses. He checks the fuses with a conventional test light since it can sometimes add enough load to detect a blown fuse better than a voltmeter. Testing fuse 44, the blower quits working on high. Something going on here. The voltmeter comes out and now he has 0.176 volts on both sides of fuse 44. He pokes around the fuse panel and finds a source of battery power in an empty relay socket. He uses a jumper wire to supply power to the fuse socket. The blower comes to life on all speeds and the scan tool now talks to the ABS module. He also retrieves a code C0055, rear wheel speed sensor. Well, let's ignore that for the present and see why this circuit has a voltage drop. He pulls up the power distribution diagram and finds that fuse 44 and 51 are both powered off pin G of the ignition switch. They also both go through connector C201. The rear of the ignition switch is not that hard to get to, so he goes there. Unfortunately, now he cannot get it to malfunction, but his mind says GM vehicle. Is it likely to be a wiring problem or an ignition switch? He pokes around at the ignition switch and now it works all the time. His money is on the ignition switch for the voltage drop. The ignition switch is replaced and the vehicle is road tested for the C0051. Sensor works just fine now and the code doesn't come back. Best guess is that the voltage drop was affecting the brake control module's ability to put out a reference voltage to the speed sensor. It's also possible that the vehicle might be back with the ABS light on and a sensor code, so he documents the code as having been cleared and not resetting on the road test. That way, if it's back, he's safe. While the fix on this vehicle is pretty straightforward and a pattern failure, he saw all sorts of potential pitfalls that could have sent a less experienced technician off on numerous tangents. Presence of 3 engine codes could have sent him off looking at those if he had not looked at the fail records and seen that thousands of miles has gone by since they were sent, while the ugly U code had just set. The apparent functioning of fuse 44 since high blower worked could have sent him down the path of blower resistor while avoiding the U code, which is always scary. Focusing on the customer description of the problem, which did not match his own tests, helped keep him on track to find the problem in a relatively short length of time with a minimum of disassembly and minimum cost to the customer.